Yo, Letsynthesize here. Today's tutorial is a little different because, I love to synthesize cinematic stuff also. And when I watched this movie, Independence Day 2, I was like, okay, this is not the best movie I've ever seen. And there is this zap sound, the laser gun sound. So here is it. I was like, this is pretty boring, pretty dumb sound, like an overused square sound, very heavily pitched, applying a kick style of pitch envelope onto the sound, onto the square. So I didn't really like it. So I was like, why not try and resynthesize, or at least try some different sounds to it. So I came up with this. And this is still not the best sound, but actually I like it a lot better than the original one. So let me show you what I did. Here are these, I can close this window now. So here are these sounds. And these are taken from Synthesize Sunday first, the very first tutorial. So as you can see here, the Screwduck style wobble in FM8 serum. So I just recorded this sound. And use it up in sampler. So I put it into sampler in this MIDI track, and I use 2 instances of that. Come on. So here is the first one, which is basically just the very first hit of the sound, which actually I pretty like because that is, let me bring this a little closer, because it is like a very punchy, transient kind of sound. So this section, I really like that. But what I wanted to do is add a little more presence to it, add some more transient and more kicky kind of sound to it by using a pitch envelope. So I applied a pitch envelope and push it up. The very first hit, as you can see here, the transient or the attack times to 15 semitones. And I applied only 34 milliseconds. And this applies on the whole sample preset or sampler patch. But going to the next one, I wanted to use this sound, zappy kind of sound, and actually it's a lot better to demonstrate it. So I used up this section and this section for the transient. So not this place, only this section. So these were the sound that I used here in the sampler to create this zap sound. And what is more important, I had to take a very, very short, noisy kind of tone just before the hits. Because, I didn't want to use a tuck-tuck percussion kind of sound, but I wanted to use a you. There are always little very first pre-attack samples or pre-attack stuff before the attack, before the transient, to achieve this you kind of sound, and not a tu. So this is why I put these guys here, which are basically I just froze and I took a very short part and put it here. So let's go back to the preset. As I told you, I used up this section and this section of the sound. So I layered them together and I applied this pitch envelope to add more transient to it. And I also added some frequency modulation, which actually doesn't do too much, but I like how it sounds with it. So let me demonstrate it. Probably because it takes away that whistly kind of sound. But never mind, without this, I would say it works pretty well. The other thing I did here is I transposed the sound up to 5 semitones to make it a little higher, like a more zappy kind of sound like the original, but I just wanted to have a different kind of zap sound. Okay, I added a broken tube. Which adds some, I would say, a little distortion to it and makes the sound a little gritty, not very digital and artificial. I also chopped off the very highs and added some ambience and a saturator to the end. Maybe I should consider boosting the lows a little. can be an interesting thing, but for that I need to reactivate the video window, and let's see how it sounds with the new additions. Compared to the original, actually I like it a lot better. The last thing that I did here is I went to the MIDI and applied 2 octaves of pitch bend range. Now we can close the window, and applied some pitch modulation, pitch bend modulation on the sound, as you can see here, to add more kind of zappy sound, because you know a zap always behaves like this. It starts on a very high frequency, it goes down pretty quickly, and on the original sound, the core sound was a square wave, which did the same, which contained the same pitch envelope. So I tried to follow that, and to make the sound, I mean the 2 hits, the 2 laser hits, a little different, so avoiding the machine gun effect, I went a little lower on the second hit with the pitch bend, with the pitch envelope. So this was a sound. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a little. And don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and drop your comments, because I always love to read your thoughts. And see you next time, guys. Bye bye.